If you haven't already watched the season 2 premiere of Arcane, you need to go stop by and watch it. It is incredible. It is an art masterpiece and really truly is visionary. Hopefully that's what majority of the $250 million budget went to, but we might talk about that later. So today we are going to be working on an incredible Arcane artwork that hopefully can hold a candlelight to the roaring flame that is the artistic masterpiece of Arcane. For the background, I have a specific vision of what I'm going to be doing in mind, which I'll get more into in a little bit. This is going to be my background right here. As you can see, I got out my light table and I have some Bristol board. This is actually an image taken straight from League of Legends themselves. One of their amazing artists has put this together for some scenery so you can get really into the vibe of everything that's going on. And this piece is going to be taking place in Zon. Alright, so as we hop into the time lapse here, you're going to see that we're going to be using a lot of hatching, as well as some other techniques that we might go into in a little bit here. If you don't know what hatching is, it's basically when you try to get some level of shading with ink, where you only move your pen or your fine liner or whatever you're using to ink in one direction to get some level of shading. The closer those lines are together, or the thicker those lines are, the more of a shading effect you're going to get. So as you can see here, we're building up those hatching layers, as I like to call them, because I like to layer my hatches on top of one another. Just build up some definition. We're also going to be using that hatching technique for something really awesome, which is going to be just doing it for lines in general. It's going to add a lot of diagonal movement to this piece. And when you have diagonal movement in a type of artwork, it creates a lot of energy and movement and chaos, which, I mean, if you've watched Arcane, that just sums up Zon perfectly. Now, using this technique, we are going to lose a little bit of the detail in the structures, but that is okay. This is just a background. I do want it to be a little bit more blurred or out of focus, if you will, and that's going to really come to light and pop a lot once you see the final product and how it came out. Now, we had a lot of challenges coming up in this artwork. One really major one is that using this hatching technique was causing a lot of fatigue and pain in my wrist, and it was not fun at all. I had to constantly keep taking breaks, but those breaks were very important and vital. Tip number one for you guys is take breaks when you need them. Now, keep working, but understand when your working limit is. I like to set timers in 1 to 2 hour intervals and take a 10 or 20 minute break respectively to do that. That way, my wrist and my hand doesn't get fatigued too much and I can keep working. Okay, so if you see me pulling my hand away a lot in this art piece, it's because of that fatigue and it really hurt. Another challenge I was facing in this artwork was my time crunch. As recording this video, it was Thursday, November 14th, and the second drop for Arcane is coming out this Saturday, November 16th. So I'm really hammered in for time here, and I wanted to allocate about 3-4 hours for this, and it ended up taking a lot longer than that. And so I'm racing against the clock here, really trying to get this background done. This is what took up the majority of my time, but boy, was it worth it. Just look at the final result here. Alright, it is now about 4 hours later. I spent way longer on the background than I would have liked to, but I'm actually pretty happy with the results and how it came out. Ta-da! Bam! Would you look at that? But it's done, finally. That took about 3 hours. In case you're wondering what I did for the last 30 minutes, I took a break. And I did a really bad, rough sketch of Vi and Caitlyn. And I have an idea, and it's something I've never done before. I'm going to use a very like rudimentary silhouette sketch to try and nail how Vi and Caitlyn look. And right now I'm debating if I want to go detail heavy on them or if I want it to just be a silhouette and a lot of things be implied. That is to be decided. I'm not sure how we're gonna do that, but yeah, I'm not sure how we're gonna do that. So what I didn't know was that this was going to be very sketchy. I just spent the last 3.5 hours moving a micron pen in one singular direction, and now I'm going to ink two characters that I care deeply about and just wing it. This could be a huge mistake. Well, I'll have it figured out. And actually, I did just realize a problem with my sketch on Vi. Maybe. But yeah, I'm hoping it's not going to be a problem. We'll find out. I'm really hoping I don't ruin this thing. I will be doing it on a separate bristol board and layering it so that we get a cool little pop out effect. And yeah, wish me luck. Hopefully this doesn't take too much longer because I'm really, really, really running out of time. I already went over my allocated time for this project actually, and we just need to get it done because I'm uploading this tomorrow, and our second part of Arcane is launching on Saturday, which is in a less than a day and a half. So there's no time like the present. Let's get to it. All right. So while I was watching Arcane, there was only one scene that kept popping up into my mind for the first 3 episodes, and I couldn't get it out of my head. And I knew that I needed to make artwork off of it because it was just so creative, so cool, and I loved it. Especially given my past experience creating my businessman portfolio. This was just right up my alley, and I absolutely loved it. This scene from Arcane has got to be my favorite so far. The Echo versus Jinx fight, though, is pretty close. So this scene is what I'm basing this entire artwork off of. It just immediately gave me a vision of what I wanted to do, and I knew what I needed to do for these first 3 episodes to represent it. In my opinion, the first 3 episodes were all Vi and Caitlyn, and that's why you do not see too much of Jinx in it. And now, we get a nice little reveal to see just how it's come together. All right, so now I have our little pieces cut out here. Essentially what I'm going to be doing at this point is taking a little Sharpie. I'm going to be going around the edges, maybe a little bit on the back, maybe on the back a bit, just to clean up some of these white spots from when I was cutting it. The white edges, I mean. And also, I got a really cool idea while I was cutting these. I'm actually going to cut out even more parts of these guys and have them pop out even more. I think it's going to be pretty cool. We'll see how that works and how I actually end up executing it, but I think it's a cool idea, and I'm hoping we can make it look cool. So we're in the final stretch now. Let's go ahead and finish this off. We're really skipping on no detail here. Literally coloring the black on just the edges so they're not as visible when this is going to be propped up. But when you put this much time and effort into something, you go all the way. You know, you don't half-ass it. If you do it 100%. There's no success if you don't give it 100. All right, so we're finally finished my Arcane artwork. It has been about probably, I'd say it's been about 6 hours. So I'd say that's a pretty successful time working on it. Went over the allocated time I had to work on something like this, but I mean, you can't not speak for the results. I mean, to be honest. one of my favorite artworks I've done as of yet, but I've been saying that a lot lately because this channel and you guys have been challenging me a lot. This is probably going to be the first upload that we have again on the channel after our reboot with our new business. So please show your support. Go ahead and watch the next video we got coming up really soon. We're going to be doing some Venom. In order to do that, gotta subscribe and hit that notification bell. And I'll see you guys in a little bit.